And we're live. Hello, everyone watching live or in the replay on Make Your Mark. We are very excited that our expert today is Yoni Alpert from Alpert Digital. He's going to talk to us about paid campaigns, lead generation. We have lots of great stuff for you guys tonight. I am super excited because I actually really don't know the answer to most of these questions, and I'm really fascinated to see Yoni's answers. I'm going to introduce myself really quick for those of you who don't know me. I am Jordana. I'm a social media expert at Make Your Mark. Yeah, well, let's just jump right in. Yoni, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me, Jordana. It was just a few months ago that you were a guest on my live, remember?
Yes, that's actually where I got inspired from the idea, because when you asked me to go live, I was like, no way am I talking on a live screen to answer live questions. And then I was like, no, just do it. And then actually, because of the live I did with you, I realized how not terrible it was. So.
Yeah, it's not bad. And it goes with the flow, and we're allowed to make mistakes. So I'll just introduce myself real quick now that we create a relaxing environment here. So Yoni Alpert. I'm 33, married with a very, very cool, almost 2-year-old son. We live on a little tiny yeshuv right on the Dead Sea, which is way more interesting than lead generation. 40 family yeshuv, so that's great. And I've been running my agency, Alpert Digital, for the last 3.5 years. I specialize in paid campaigns and lead generation and lead nurture. I have on my LinkedIn that over $500,000 in ads. It's more than that now, and I have generated not a month in total, not there yet. And I've thousands of high quality leads, and I don't even know how, a lot in sales, awesome. Especially in high ticket items, both B2B and B2C. So from radius based to software as a service, and on all different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, LinkedIn ads, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator direct messaging, which is an amazing tool for all of you viewers out there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So I dabble in all of the platforms, and I'm really excited to get started and take a deep dive into this. And just to put it out there for anybody watching, whether it's now or the replay, feel free to ask me questions, put me on the spot. I like a good challenge, so ask me a question I don't know.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. Awesome. Anyone who has any questions, you can drop in the comments live or in the replay, and Yoni will get back to you. Yeah, let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Yoni, how did you get into the world of ads, and when did you realize that you were good at it?
So in 2015, I got a job when I was a student studying political science at the Ministry of Economy. And because they had nowhere to put me, they told me to run the social media page. And I didn't even know how to schedule a Facebook post in 2015. I didn't even know that it was possible. That was like my mind-blowing thing that I learned working for the Ministry of Economy. That was my start in marketing, and I really loved it. I loved trying to build community and trying to raise awareness for the branch of the Ministry of Economy that I was working for. It was really like international R&D partnerships and like very, very cool stuff that was going on, building delegations, and so that was fun. And I got my feet wet there. I spent 2 years at Outbrain, which is content marketing, which I hated. I learned that I hated content marketing, and then after that, I started working at a PR firm and got fired from the PR firm, which was the best thing that ever happened to me because I had no choice but to go start out on my own with paid campaigns, with digital marketing agency. So that's what I did, and I got started helping out nonprofits and volunteering and really working for free for nonprofits and trying to help them with their Google Ads grants and trying to help them with Facebook ads and all that stuff for absolutely free. And after a while, people started paying me real money for it. I was like, that's very cool to pay me money for doing this. And 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 humble beginnings for real. And I slowly grew, and I feel like the question of like, when did I realize that I was good at it? I feel like that's an unfair question, because it's not, because it's really about being patient and consistent. Is that no one is born
Wasn't
to
just
be
one big
digital.
smack in the face.
Right. I did it. I'm self-taught through experience and through YouTube and through paying coaches and mentors and courses and things like that. So
And
I
time and energy.
yes. So I wake up every day saying I'm not as good as I want to be. So like, when did I realize you were good at it? I'm not good enough yet. I mean, that's just my mindset as a business owner, and as an, I guess, entrepreneur, however I want to describe myself. And I think that every successful business, it really comes down to them people waking up every day and saying, I'm not good as what I want to be, or where I'm not where I want to be. So I'm going to work double as hard as I did yesterday. So
Amen to that.
yeah.
I feel you.
So I'm not, I mean, I have like, I get impressive results, but I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be. So
Well, amen to always learning more and always getting better.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Paid campaign versus organic marketing. Why would I need one over the other? I freaking love this question, and I'm psyched for this answer.
So that's your second unfair question out of two questions. I don't know what to do. So let's take a step back from before we can get really good at paid campaigns, before we actually pay money to get in front of eyeballs, right? To get attention from people. We have to understand that there's a point to this rant. So like, bear with me here. Every single business,
stage is yours.
Every single business has three major baskets that they have to fill, right? Three. There we go. Three major baskets. They have their prospecting basket, their sales basket, and their fulfillment basket, right? Prospecting is where people learn about you and figure out if it's worth paying you money they worked really hard to earn, right? Whether it's a business or a person. It doesn't matter if you're B2B or B2C. You have your prospecting that you always need to have a pipeline of people coming in. Then you have your sales. After people become prospects, then you have to tell them, hey, I'm worth it. Give me money because I understand your pain point, right? And then there's fulfillment, where you actually follow through, you stay accountable, and you keep your client or customer accountable. And both paid content, both paid campaigns and organic marketing help all three of those phases of the prospecting, of the sales, and the fulfillment. But if you don't have a good foundation of organic, then it's not worth going into paid, right? So what paid really does, and this is why I love paid campaigns so much, is that it speeds up the process exponentially of your growth, right? But if you don't have a good foundation, paid campaign, you're only guessing, and you should go play the slot machines in Vegas and not put it into paid campaigns. But
Totally.
if people learn about you, if you know how people or why people and when people pay you money, and if you know where you best sell your products, it doesn't matter what platform it is and where your dream clients hang out, and you already have a website and you have a community and you have a name and people are aware of you, even if it's just word of mouth, then paid campaigns are going to exponentially grow your business. And you're just going to have to put up some money at the beginning. But it's absolutely important, though, that you build an organic foundation and you figure out if your business, if whatever you're selling, if there's a need for it and people actually are willing to pay you money for it. Because no paid campaign people and lead generation people and lead nurture agencies, we're not magicians. So if you have what people want, then paid ad, and you're already doing it on a small scale or a medium scale or a large scale, and you want to get bigger, then paid ads are going to help. But there is
social media is like word of mouth on steroids, and ads are organic on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. We're just example, just like a look under the hood of my clients is I have clients where 50% of the ad budget goes towards boosting content, boosting posts for the goal of engagement, right? I want to get for my clients 500, 700, 1,000 likes, 3,000, 4,000 likes, and 150 comments. And once, so like so sometimes 30, 40, 50% of my budget goes towards that, because I'm just taking what separates them, what's unique about them, and just showing it to a ton more people. And then once they're interested, I'll show those people who actually show interest a reason to pay my clients money. And that's the marketing funnel and things like that. But it all starts with organic. It starts and ends with organic. It's simple as that.
Tippy has an awesome question, and she wants to know what's considered a good organic foundation. You mentioned having an organic foundation. So what is a good organic foundation?
So Tippy, that's a great question, and it really, I don't mean to disappoint you, but it's different for everybody. If you are a one-person business and you are managing and you feel like you have not a community, but you feel like you have consistent clients coming in, you're very happy with the lifetime value of your clients, even though you can handle a lot more. Let's say you can handle 10 times the amount of clients that you have. It's 100 times the amount of clients that you have. If you're serving people who have a need and they're happy and they're recommending you, and you're consistently documenting your journey as a business owner or as a executive, or doesn't matter what your position is, or as a person, and and people are consistently engaging and you're getting positive feedback, then that's enough. And we'll talk about what I think the first steps are, or when you're trying to dabble in Facebook or into paid campaigns, where the heck do you start? And when we get into that, that'll answer your question, Sippy, of if you know you're ready. Because you don't have to spend $10,000 to know that you're ready or not. Totally. It can happen much shorter than that, much less.
Totally. I think that once you feel like you've got a good baseline of brand awareness, once people have heard of you, seen you, know what your logo looks like, have seen your posts come up consistently, once you're getting more than just, your mom and your sister liking your posts, like so you've got that consistency on the baseline, then you can take it to the next level.
And you have people who don't actually know you or care about you paying you money. Like that's, for me, was a big measuring stick for me, where someone comes to me who's not my friend, who's not my family, who's saying, here's money to get me results. Like, wow, that's like a lot of faith.
Even signs up to like your newsletter or something, get something of yours for free. Once they're finding out about you, once they're taking action on something.
Right, exactly. Taking action, even engaging with a LinkedIn post. I love LinkedIn. And if you don't, Tippy, if you want to know if you have a good organic foundation, or if there's people out there that might want to pay you money for something and your business is good, post every single day on LinkedIn for 2 months and you'll know. Because you could double your business just by posting every day on LinkedIn for 2 months and engaging with relevant people.
Totally psycho. Okay. How much money should I be putting into my Facebook ad?
Okay, so unfair question number 3.
Totally.
Okay, so this is for you, Tippy. If we're just starting out, okay? If we're just starting out with Facebook ads, let's approach this differently. Let's not talk about money. Let's talk about audiences. Okay? Before we talk about money and how much you want to spend, let's talk about who you actually want to show Facebook ads or any paid campaigns to, right? You can create audiences of your mailing lists, of your website visitors, of people who've engaged on your social media, people who've watched your videos, previous clients, leads. You can create these audiences. You can create audiences of people who've watched 25% of your video. You can create audience of post engagers, someone who actually, when they're scrolling and they stop on your post for 10 seconds and read what you have to say and don't click on anything, you have no idea that they're engaging with you, but Facebook knows that they engage with you, and that's called silent engagement, and you can target those people who've engaged with your post, right? So we're talking about audiences. We're talking about all of these. Again, you can upload mailing lists, website visitors, social engagers, video views, previous clients, leads. If you create those audiences and start promoting your current content and create ads to sell them stuff, because they already know you and appreciate you and you're already an authority to them, I would start with really doubling down on those audiences. And like, you don't have to don't stop promoting to your mailing list until every single person on your mailing list has paid you something, right? I'm a big fan of sales, right? And showing value to people. So I don't know how much, like if you have a mailing list of 20,000 people, then it's going to cost more than if you have a mailing list of 1,000 people. But if you have a mailing list of 1,000 people, you can take the last 20 posts that you've put up on Facebook and target those people. Target your mailing list and target. So
cool.
It's really cool because when you send an email, the normal open rate is 15-20%, and a bunch of it goes to spam and nobody sees what you're writing. But if you're showing your mailing list posts and stuff on Facebook, then a lot of times they get re-engaged. That's called lead reactivation, right? So you reactivate them and re-engage them, and all of a sudden, because you worked hard to get their email address at the beginning, like that way back when. So now that you've re-engaged them and reactivate them, a lot of them will pay you money and buy your product.
Right.
So
we have a question from Elisheva, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
If you are ready to put money into an ad, what type of post should you create for your ad, and what type does the best?
So again,
on that question and ask, like, where should you start? Like, should you start with your mailing list? Should you start with the people who are engaging with your social media? Should you pick the one that's like working best for you? How do you choose who to target first?
Right, that's a great question. First, you have to understand, and then we'll get to each other's question in a second, but first you have to understand where most of your business is coming from right now. If it's coming from your email address, if it's coming from people who see you on social media and are email and are messaging you, if it's coming from phone calls through word of mouth and referrals, you have to see where your business is coming from and then focus there. But what I would do is I would spread it out over all of the different remarketing audiences, and I would separate them, and then and see which ones bear fruit. They will all bear fruit most likely, and then from there you can that's warm audiences, right? So just really double down on the warm audiences, and then everything else will take care of itself, because those warm audiences will also turn into your ambassadors, and even if they can't pay you, it'll remind them what you do, and then they'll recommend you to somebody else. So really focus on developing their relationship, and that's an answer for you, Elisheva. There are two things that you can do. One of them is promote your already existing post, right? Not boost post on the bottom of the right at the bottom of your post on your Facebook page. Going into Business Manager and Ads Manager, and boosting it, creating an ad and using an existing post with an audience and all that stuff. Very, very important. Not to boost posts on your Facebook page. So
that's stealing money.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. Never boost a post from Facebook's recommendation, because they just want your money. It's not, and it's not a good.
They're not trying to help you. They're trying to help themselves.
Yes. So Elisheva, the first thing you can do is boost an already existing post that you see has done well and has actually brought you business. If there's a post that you know has brought you business, boost the heck out of that to other people similar to the ones that paid you for it, from that post. That's really, really important. And what's cool about that is that even when you stop the ad, all of those likes and all of the engagement stays there. So if you boost it with the goal of post engagement and you get 200, 300 likes and 20, 30 comments, then even when you finish boosting it, it stays. The second type of ad you can create is an actual ad. that the advantage is you can speak to whatever audience, directly to whatever audience that you've targeted, right? So whether that's in with video, whether that's with an image and ad copy, it really depends. You're going to have to test it. It also depends what platform you use. You can choose only to do Instagram story ads, right? You could do story.
Our Instagram story ad this week.
Nice. Nice. That's really good. I love story ads. What'd you say?
I said that was a recommendation from Alpert Digital to run our ads for our everyday story ideas on Instagram stories. Yes, it is running now. Let me know if you saw it.
I'm a big fan of that. And I hope that everybody who is watching this video and have watched previous lives are in your audience, as people who've seen your videos have engaged with your page. It's very important for that.
Yeah, we got the whole mailing list in there. Yeah.
Amazing. So, and that mailing, like, those people are much more likely to pay you money than people who don't know who you are. Right. But yeah, so Elisheva, regarding the question, is it depends. Like, if your target audience are geriatrics in New York, people above the age of 65, then video might not be the best thing. But if your audience are business owners and executives and people who've been to your website, then or people who are if your audience or your leads is people who've signed up to your mailing list, then you can make a video speaking directly to them. Hey, mailing list, this is what we got. Let's talk. But I'm a big fan of story ad videos. I'm a big fan of written ads with an awesome image.
Totally.
You just have to test it and see what works. Out.
Thank you, Tippy. Shout out to Callie, who's not in this live, but she will be next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question.
Oh, we got more questions. This is exciting.
How fast can I expect results from a paid campaign? Is this unfair question number 4?
Yeah, great. I like that because I get these questions all the time. So it's important that I'm on record for this. So it depends on your audiences. It depends on your goals. It depends on the marketing funnel that you build. Like, if you don't know how people buy from you and how many interactions it usually takes and how they get to you, then paid campaigns aren't going to help you figure that out, and you're not going to get any results, right? But if you know,
it's also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know a lot about paid campaigns, but I think it's also a lot about what kind of results you're looking for. You know, you can create your campaign to have a million different types of results. The result is not always likes or sales. Sometimes it's just brand awareness, and you can have an ad running for 6 months and you can't necessarily feel or see the results right away always. And sometimes it's just like a long time nurture kind of thing. And it's not for the purpose of immediate results. And that's okay too.
Right. So that was actually, that's been a problem in the Facebook ads industry as marketers for us selling ourselves to the larger clients. From me all the way up to Gary Vaynerchuk, we've all had the same issues in explaining and trying to actually put a number on the ROI of paid campaigns. And it's sometimes really hard to put the ROI, to put an exact ROI in the paid campaigns. Just like it's hard to put the ROI on a billboard that you see on the highway, that's just much more accepted. So people are happy to waste money on a billboard.
I think it's hilarious that people are willing to pay for an ad in, I don't know, like the Torah Tidbits or a magazine or a newspaper weekly, or they put in the most expensive one on Pesach, or whatever, so that everyone sees it. And everyone sees so much value in that, being the front page, on Erev Pesach, but people have such a hard time putting in money and putting in time and effort into brand awareness.
Right. Well, there are already enough people that I'm very, very busy, so that's okay.
There you go.
there are enough people that realize the importance, because we also have to evolve and be able to show ROI. ROI, return on investment, right? So let's say I put $1 into something and I get $3 out of it, that's a pretty good ROI, right? So if I spend $1,000 on ads and make $5,000 in sales, I'm sitting pretty. And if I spend,
Totally.
but it depends. I have a client that is not focused on sales and is focused on growing her Instagram follow campaign. So over the last 4 months, we've grown with real followers, not fake followers, real engaged followers. We've grown from 8,000 followers to almost 70,000 followers using story ads.
Wow.
So
Which
her
surprised me
ROI,
and that people go in and buy followers from these like stupid bots that then
mm-hmm,
don't like, don't comment, and definitely don't buy from you. Or you
right.
could spend the same money running ads and actually have real humans who care and want your service and content. It's just it's beyond me.
It's only after you build a community. It's only after you build a community. So before you talk about results, though, in a paid campaign, you have to talk about goals. What's your goal? Is your goal to make money? Is your goal to raise brand awareness? Is your goal to get people to sign up for a newsletter or download your white paper or join your free 10-day challenge if you're a coach or a mentor or a pretend coach or a pretend mentor, like whichever. There's a lot of them out there. So,
My God,
right? So, so,
totally.
so we have to really, so like, again, it's very important to define what results, define your goals, define how much you're willing to invest, define all of these things, and then you'll be able to understand the timeline. But again, without knowing how people without paid campaigns learn about you, become interested, and decide to pay you money, then you're not going to know how fast you can expect results from a paid campaign, because all you're doing with a paid campaign is emulating your already existing marketing funnel, but times a million, times 10, times 20, times 30, times 50. Not
Yeah.
times a million. Sorry.
Maybe times a million if you hire Yoni.
No, no. No fault. I'm not a magician. The last thing I am is a magician. Paid campaigns are hard, even for professionals, even for agencies, and they're not always successful. And even
Which
if
is the
there's a
scary
real
part.
traction,
You're paying a professional to do it for you, and you're paying for the ad itself, and you have no promise that you'll make, X amount or whatever. It's
right?
like,
But the agency should give you a good idea of how risky what you're trying to do is.
right.
Especially like if your product is over a certain amount of money, then you should be okay with
Right.
the agency route.
Okay. When running an ad, what key metrics should I be looking at to get a good review of it?
The key metrics. I mean, if you're again, it depends. If you're talking about running an ad for sales, then you should be looking at the return on ad spend. Like if you're actually making money. If you're happy with a 2x return and you're putting in $50 and making $100, if you're selling a course, then that's fine. If you're running a engagement ad, then how many cents you're paying per engagement, per reaction. If you're running video view ads, if you're running an event, if you're running an ad trying to get people to your event, then how much are you paying per event click, and if that'll actually work out in the future and doing like with your ROI. Measuring like if you're paying $100 per event attendee and you only have 10 spaces for 10, but usually people come to your events, 5 people actually pay you money and they pay you $5,000, then you'll happily pay $100 for an event attendee.
Right.
So the key metrics, it depends on your goal, and it depends on your previous work in selling your product. But it's always good, and this is like, I'm not even joking. You hiring a consultant for 30 minutes or an hour will save, and like if you don't have the money to hire an agency, then hiring a consultant for an hour will save you thousands of dollars.
Your ads
and
yeah.
YouTube works as well. Going on YouTube and being like, how do I do X? How do I do Y? There's a ton of free resources out there, and it's really, really important to educate yourself before starting paid campaigns or paying somebody else to do your paid campaigns for you.
Right. Well, I have a question.
Mhm.
How often should we be checking these key metrics, right? Because we know that the key metrics, based off what you just said, is depending on what your goals are, but
Mhm.
how often should we be checking up on this?
I mean, I check campaigns every day, and if you're paying money to anything, like you have to find the balance, right? So if you're paying money for something, you should be checking it every day. Um, you
Fair
shouldn't be
enough.
changing it. You shouldn't be changing it every day, but you should be checking it every day and learning from. Uh, you should be learning as much as you can from what you see. Like if you put 3 different types of creatives in an ad set and one of them is doing very, very, very well compared to the other 2, then you would wait another day or 2 and then just turn off the other 2 because they're not working. Or if you're going after your previous if you're going after your website visitors, your social engagers, and your email list, and from your email list you already have 3 purchases or 5 purchases, and from the other lists you have none, you're going to turn off the other ad sets and triple your budget for your emailing list. So
Mhm.
you should be looking at it every single day. And
Wow.
again, the key metrics are, again, not changing it every day. Just look at it. Key metrics are engagement and sales and interest and comments. And if you get 100 comments that whatever you're selling is a scam, then you should change your audience because it's not working.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then after one day you should change it because you get a good idea that this is bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. What is the best way to generate more leads with outreach and content?
Okay. So this is one of my favorite things in the world to talk about.
Mhm.
I do this for like bigger companies, but we can all small business owners can do it as well. If you go on LinkedIn, whoever is on LinkedIn, the first thing you should do is post consistently, even if it's 2 or 3 times a week for between 1 and 2 months. You should find between 5 and 10 people who do exactly what you do and sell exactly what you sell, who are a little bit ahead of you, and just write down exactly what they do and what works and what doesn't work. Spend literally 15 minutes a day doing it. And you can
Wow.
also engage with their posts and support them because they're way ahead of you in the game anyway, and they're from like Canada or like Brazil, and you're not. So there's enough work for everybody. Um, I arbitrarily blurted out countries, nothing to do with no offense to Canada or Brazil here. And also research hashtags right on LinkedIn, because the beautiful part about LinkedIn is that you can get through all of the gatekeepers and speak to the decision makers. Like if you understand, so when you look at all of these people who are posting, who are just a couple years ahead of you, which is the only difference between you and them, you can then not copy them, but take things that they're doing and modify it to make it your own, and use it with your connections and your all that and your community or whatever it is. I do that all the time. I look at what digital marketers around the world are doing it and study them.
Wow.
And you can see that most of what I just started last Tuesday, the LinkedIn document posts every Tuesday, I learned that from fellow digital marketers who said this is and they did studies on that this is going to help engagement, and the new algorithm loves document posts. So I'm in. So
Yeah.
it's a copycat
I
league,
felt
and
like I thought I was a genius when I first discovered that. When I was like, I could follow people, see what they're doing. I picked up on patterns, of like dripping out content, then collecting your email, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing their ads, and then I'm getting their emails. I saw myself like wanting to buy their products, and I remember being like, holy moly, that just worked on me. I must do that too.
and you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're selling cupcakes or jewelry or a service, right? Or you're a software developer looking to reach decision makers to become a freelance developer. You're a product designer that specializes in diet apps. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, and then once you have that down, with a little bit of patience and consistently, and you figure out where your dream clients hang out and the type of language that they use, your dream clients, dream big, right? Then you have this tool called LinkedIn Sales Navigator, okay, which is the coolest search tool in the history of social media. It's the cool, you can find anybody, anywhere, anything, like the types of people.
Nothing's cooler than hashtags.
No, it's Sales Navigator. What's cool about Sales Navigator, it costs $80 a month, the one that I have. So there are certain businesses that can't afford it, but there's a 30-day free trial, right? And what you can do is you can connect to 50 to 100 people who would come up on your search list every single day, and you can even send them a message. So let's say you don't have the money. For 30 days, you can connect to, what was it, 30 times 100? You can connect to 3,000 people, right? I have to do the math. You can connect to 3,000 of your potential dream clients for free. A free 30-day trial of LinkedIn Sales Navigator after posting for 2 months. And then from that list, you can start engaging with those people, and then they'll see your posts and you engage with their friends and they see you, and it's a whole big happy party. And then you can actually, you've already reached out to them, say, hey, how you doing? Happy to connect. This is what I do. Just happy to be here, like a fly on the wall. Totally humble message. And with patience and consistency, that's, for me, the best way I generate leads and do outreach is through LinkedIn Sales Navigator on my own. I do it for clients, for big time, like for large companies. We do it on a little bit more of a intricate, with automations and softwares and all fancy tools, but doing it on your own is huge. And that's how I've gotten much of, other than referrals, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is my biggest prospecting pipeline. Remember that basket, those baskets we talked about at the beginning? My prospecting baskets are LinkedIn Sales Navigator and referrals.
Very cool.
A little bit of Facebook content as well.
Very, very cool.
So again,
okay,
3,000
last
for free.
That's psycho.
Yeah.
That's totally psycho. Okay, last question for tonight. What are the top 3 must-haves in any ad campaign?
Okay, the top 3 must-haves in any ad campaign. Number 1 is empathy, right? Number 1 is you have to understand whoever you're selling to. You have to understand their needs, wants, fears, goals, and concerns, like what they love, what they hate, whether it has to do with your business or does not have to do with their business. And what you have to do once you understand them is show them you understand them, right? So empathy is the number 1 thing that you need in any ad, right? From when it comes to copy and creative, saying, hey,
you to say that, and I love that answer.
Hey, so like if I'm looking for, if I'm going after high tech people, or or if I'm going after personal chefs coming out of COVID, I would say, hey, I would write an ad like, hey, personal chefs, like I get it, it's hard. COVID was not easy, but there's a way out, and this is it, right? Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would get much more. I don't know the personal chef industry. Empathy is the first thing you need in an ad campaign. Understanding the pain point, understanding their goals and dreams. Like, you can say, hey, wouldn't it be amazing if you were the best video editor in all of Silicon Valley? Like, understand their dreams and understand their pain points. So like, number 2 is a working offer, right? Things that you've like whatever you're selling on with a Facebook ad, with an ad campaign, something you've already sold before, and you know that people want to buy it, right? You have to have a working offer. You can't just make an offer only for your ads, right? Know that you have a service, you're selling it. You, for example, have your everyday story ideas, right? That's a service that you're selling. You know people need it. You also see people's stories and how crappy they are, right? So you because you already have sales, right? And you also understand where your need is and where the pain point is. I would tell you run ads for everyday story ideas, which I did when we spoke privately.
Yep.
So you have the empathy, you have the sales, and the third is I think that I think the third would be a marketing funnel. Like you understand how your community buys stuff from you, or how your dream clients buy stuff and how they make decisions, and understanding
Know the next step before the first step.
What?
Like to know the next step before the first step.
Yeah, to know all the steps, to know their buyer journey, right? And then once you have those three things in place, you're going to know whether to do an engagement post. You're going to know whether to actually speak to people who don't know you and sell them something. You're going to know whether to have people download a white paper or a guide from you. You're going to know whether to invite people to a challenge. You're going to know whether to give a week for free for your product. You're going to know all of those things if you have empathy, if you have a working offer, and if you have a marketing funnel already built. All the technical stuff in the ad campaign takes care of itself, and you don't have any guessing. So those would be my three things, which none of them are actually in the ad campaign. But
all in the strategy plan. Well, it is all about the strategy.
Yeah.
I know one thing. I know that. I don't know a lot about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Yoni, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome and super valuable. And I'm so excited that you were able to be here and join us. And I can't believe that it's already been 42 minutes. Holy moly.
I know, right? We could go. I could go.
So much to talk about.
This is fun for me. Paid campaigns is fun for me.
For another hour. Yeah. Easily. Well, thank you for everyone watching live and in the replay. Thank you, Yoni, for joining us. And till next week, 8 o'clock Sunday night, till we have our next digital marketing expert.
And connect with me on LinkedIn, people. Connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.